Welcome to this explainer. Right now, literally as we speak, there is a totally fascinating microscopic mystery unfolding right inside your stomach. You see, in the wild world of carbohydrates, there's this one absolute fundamental rule we always have to keep in mind. Structure completely determines function. It sounds super simple, right? But the way this plays out on a molecular level, it actually dictates exactly what your body can and cannot do with the food you eat.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder why some carbohydrates act as this high-octane fuel for your body, giving you the energy to run, think, and just get through your day, while other carbohydrates give you absolutely 0 calories and just, well, pass right through you? It's weird, right? Because not all carbs are created equal, even when they look practically identical on a molecular level. It's a real paradox of digestion, but it actually has a perfectly elegant, essentially mechanical solution.
To really get this, we need to meet our two main suspects. On one side, we have starch, think of the stuff you find in potatoes or a hearty piece of salmon, and on the other side, we have cellulose, that tough, stringy, fibrous material in celery stalks. Now here is the kicker. Both of these are polysaccharides. That means they are built from the exact same repeating glucose blocks, literally the exact same monomer blocks. Yet the second you swallow them, they behave completely differently. So how is that even possible?
Well, the secret actually isn't in the blocks themselves, but in exactly how those blocks are connected to each other. Let's zoom in on the chemistry for just a quick second here. The connections holding these glucose units together have a name. They're called glycosidic bonds. And you can honestly think of these bonds like the very specific tiny cuts and grooves on a metal key. Because think about it, even if two keys are forged from the exact same metal, which in this case is our glucose, the specific way they are cut is going to determine exactly which doors they can actually open.
And this brilliantly illustrates that precise difference. Starch uses what we call alpha-1,4-glycosidic bonds. That specific angle of connection creates this really coiled, flexible structure. It's essentially a curly key. Cellulose, on the other hand, uses beta-1,4-glycosidic bonds. It's just a tiny, invisible chemical shift, but it forces the entire chain into straight, rigid fibers, which, if you think about it, makes perfect sense because it's used to build tough plant cell walls. So that's our straight key. We've got two identical ingredients, but they make two completely different keys.
Okay, so now that we have our keys, we really need to talk about the locks. Your body doesn't just, absorb these massive, complex food molecules whole. It has to break them down first. And to pull that off, your digestive system deploys very specific enzymes. These enzymes are basically intricately folded proteins that act perfectly, and I mean perfectly, like mechanical locks. For any reaction to happen, the chemical key of your food literally has to be a flawless fit for the biological lock of your enzyme.
So, let's try our first key. Humans naturally produce this enzyme called amylase, and it is specifically shaped to accommodate those coiled, flexible alpha bonds we just talked about. It's an absolute perfect match. The starch's curly key fits so smoothly right into the amylase lock. And because the fit is spot on, the starch gets successfully hydrolyzed, which is just a fancy way of saying broken down, into simple glucose. And this is absolutely crucial for you, because that glucose is then absorbed straight into your bloodstream and used as a major vital source of energy to keep you going.
But when we try to introduce our straight key, access completely denied. No way. The straight, rigid beta-1,4 bonds of cellulose completely clash with our amylase lock. They don't fit at all. As humans, we simply lack the specific enzyme, which is called cellulase, that's required to break those beta bonds. We quite literally do not have the biological lock for the cellulose key.
So, what does this actually mean for you? What's the real-world impact of this missing lock? Well, because we can't digest it, that rigid cellulose structure doesn't just magically vanish into thin air. Instead, it passes safely right through your stomach and your intestines totally intact. And you know what that is? That's what we commonly call dietary fiber. So while it doesn't give you cellular energy the way starch does, it provides this critical mechanical support. It bulks up your waste and keeps everything moving smoothly through your digestive tract. So getting that key rejected is actually exactly what your body needs to maintain a healthy digestive system.
Let's move to our summary and see how this all builds into a complete picture. Synthesizing everything we've just uncovered today, we see this really stunningly elegant system. Remember, we started with the exact same glucose building blocks. But because starch connects using those alpha bonds, it perfectly fits our amylase and gives us energy. On the flip side, because cellulose connects with beta bonds, it gets entirely rejected and becomes that vital dietary fiber. It's just an amazing mechanism where the tiniest, almost imperceptible geometrical difference completely alters the physiological outcome for your body.
If there is just one thing you take away from this explainer today, let it be this simple, powerful truth. Structure truly is everything. In the microscopic world of biology, the physical shape of a molecule isn't just some aesthetic detail, it is literally its absolute destiny. The exact same building blocks can either fuel you up for your next marathon or simply provide the roughage your digestion desperately needs, and it is all based on the angle of a single microscopic chemical bond.
Which leaves us with a pretty mind-bending thought to wrap up on. We've just seen firsthand how a microscopic shift in a glycosidic bond totally determines whether food fuels you or just passes right through you. So ask yourself, if a biological lock and key system this tiny, this completely invisible, is dictating your daily digestion and your energy levels, what other microscopic structures are secretly running your life right under your nose? Something to keep in mind the next time you take a bite of food. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.